Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Aaron, you do know it's going to be a little tougher for me to keep him off you today because we're actually in here. So I'll do my best. If you see me put him in a headlock, that knows, No guess. Yep. Just the three of us. Just the two of us. Hey, my battery's already down to 84%. What's going on here?
What's up?
I said my battery's already down to 84%. What the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll just keep an eye on it, and during the break, I'll go ahead and plug it in.
It'll probably come over here too if you want me to plug it in.
Oh, is there one over there?
Yeah, I got one over here.
Oh, I should have one right here then too, right? Oh, I'll check. Yeah, I'll check at the break. It's all good. Cool. And welcome to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Your host, Ed Smith, joined by my brother and co-host, Mr. Javon Adams.
Yeah!
AJ Love in the studio getting it in today. The Hubbard Radio studio down here in Phoenix, live and in person with my brother, Aaron. Good to see you, man. It's been a while. Yes, sir. Yeah. I think I was talking to Jay as our first one in here in quite a bit. I think it's our first one for the year. We only make it in maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Most of the times at the end of the year for the holidays. So Good to see Aaron. We're going to get it in. This segment right here is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, one of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Artisan Beverage Company at 623-434-0939 or visit ilovecolt.com for more information.
And if you want to tweet at us, you can hit us up at the Easy Sports Talk, at Ed Smith Speaks, at Javon Love, and that's Love with LUV. And if you want to give us a call on the Easy Sports Talk hotline, you can hit us up at 602-260-1060. Aaron is behind the glass, as I mentioned. So a lot to get into, man. We got NBA playoffs to talk about, man. Phoenix Suns. We got some football news with the Cardinals, some off-field stuff. I guess you could call it in the classroom / off-field.
No, it's not in the classroom.
We got some people that are not here, out, at least not on the practice facilities or in the meeting room.
Yes, indeed.
Diamondbacks still hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's hovering around that 500 mark.
Yes, indeed.
A lot better than I thought they would be, for sure. And then we got some other news. We'll talk a little bit about your Lakers. They made us a little bit of a move. First off, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday. A little hot out there, a little muggy out there.
It is. And my wife is jumping on me because especially me going out and running. I mean,
be careful.
No, because sometimes I feel it. Sometimes that 100, 305, as the phrase goes, it hits different.
Well, I thought about, because we're obviously here in the studio and no equipment to carry around or anything like that. And initially, I thought maybe it'll be cool enough. I'll jump on the motorcycle. I've done it before.
I thought when I pulled up because you weren't here, because I got here a few minutes before you did. Yeah. I thought, I didn't see the truck, and I thought, he must have drove the motorcycle.
Man, I looked at that. The not just the 104, 105 it's supposed to be. You can look and see at 8 o'clock it's supposed to be this. At 9 o'clock, and I was tracking it. I was like, 12 o'clock, hundreds change.
I'm sure that Nika's probably listening, so she's probably gonna call in or send me a text and say, "See, that's what I told you. That's why I don't want you out there. Dad. It's too hot."
Yeah. So I got my brain got back into focus, and I thought, that. I couldn't do it, bro. So here I am, about to truck going down. I had to burning that gas, though, bro. We've been putting in some miles too, and for the next few weeks, we got the schedule locked out all the way into August.
We had the anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
Man,
I thought
an anthem was a really popular song that became something that you like to do. I didn't know.
Hey, over the next bunch of weeks, man, we got Anthem, Chandler, Scottsdale, Surprise, you name it. Yeah. We're all over the place. So this is a nice little break. Like I said, once again, good to see Aaron. And Aaron's going to jump in and join us throughout the show with all these different topics and everything. As a matter of fact, let's start out because we're going to jump into some. I want to get your opinion on your Lakers hire of a new coach. But Aaron, you said something right at the end of last show that was interesting to me. You were going back to see Dr. Strange for the second time already. When you go see a movie that soon, are there things that you catch right away that you missed the first time, or? Okay. Yeah. Okay. How would you rate this one? What's on your scale of 1 to 10 where you got Dr. Strange? Okay. Got you.
So along those lines, I want to ask you this, Aaron. So one of my partners is Star Saxon, so his name is James, but he's really big into all the Marvel stuff, right? So all that stuff just has all the comic books, all that stuff. And so what's interesting I asked him when we recorded our podcast, Disposable Arts, yesterday, and I asked him, so have you seen the movie? And he said, man, look, man, there's so much stuff, especially with the Marvel now that they have the being able to have the network, there's all kinds of stuff. He said, I'll catch up when I catch up, man. It's alive. So do you ever feel that way with some of the things that you build, the universes that you're interested in, all that? Right. Right.
Well, a few weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were on the conversation because I had got my Spider-Man in, and Brother Mark Twain, he actually sent us a link for how to watch everything, almost like a tutorial. I actually sent that to my email, and I haven't looked at it, but I'm going to look at the proper way to go about getting all this Avengers and everything in. So I said, I guess I'm part of the new wave now.
I guess so.
Yeah. So let's talk about your Lakers hire, man. Give us a.
It's interesting because you didn't know about Darwin. He's been a former basketball player, former professional basketball player. Has been an assistant for a couple of different organizations for many years. I want to say he started out. I want to say, was it 2011, 2013, 2008. So he's been with a few different organizations, most notably with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he got a 4-year deal because because working with he was with the Lakers in 2011, 2013, so he's seen some dysfunction. So
Yeah.
I'll be real, that's my squad, but he's seen some dysfunction. And being with the Bucks, so seeing how a championship organization goes about doing things. But even having said that, when you look at that coach Budenholzer with the Bucks, I don't look at him as like a top tier coach.
No,
And I mean, he won a championship. Okay.
he's almost like a manager.
Yeah. Oh,
He manages,
yeah.
you know. My worry with the Lakers is that is he going to be a big enough personality? One, because not just to organize the team and run the team, he's got so much chaos and static that's going to be coming from above.
Static.
And are they going to allow him to do that job? And that's why
there
were some coaches that who was it? Javon Howard didn't even want the interview. You don't even want to interview with the Lakers because one, he's in a great plus situation in Michigan.
Yeah.
But why would you want to go there knowing that the second you take the job, the clock is probably ticking, and you got all those headaches above? You got to answer to Magic always criticizing the Ramby. Yeah, the Ramby.
Yes,
you know, and it just seems like it's. I just hope they give him a chance.
Yeah.
To do his job.
We'll see. So that's the thing. You can walk in regardless of what industry you're in, you walk in and you say, this is the span of control that I want. This is what I need to have. And then once your card works when you come in, they say, well, remember all that stuff we told you? We don't take back a few of those things, but you still don't have control, just as much control as you thought you was.
Or how about your office is always I got an open door policy, right? And every time you turn around, somebody's knocking on your door. Like, when
you start closing your door,
but then they just start coming, still knocking, and look through the window because they know you're in there.
Yeah.
And that to me is probably and then the other thing, and we won't dive too deep in this, the fact that Russ Westbrook, he's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
If you keep him, then you have to utilize him, and that could be a problem in itself.
You would need to utilize him off the bench, but he's not going to want
that. He's not going to want that.
But again, what you want, what we're going to do, that's two different things. So I can see that's the thing, though. So you think about the coach, the head coach, and let's say the GM, like let's say their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So Elijah comes to me and says, "Hey, Dad, I want to do X, Y, Z," and I say no. Then he goes and asks his mom and says, "Hey, I want to do this," without saying, "Dad said no." And she says yes. And I said, well, where the heck do you think you're going? And so it's that time you need to be on the same page at all times, especially when it comes to something like that.
Well, it'll be interesting. One, we got a whole off season to get through. We'll see what the Lakers do with Westbrook, but it's going to be really funny to kind of monitor that, especially because you're a Lakers.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be.
It's going to be.
You got Thanos there as well.
If Glass can be healthy, we'll be all right.
All right, we're going to take this break. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, as well as KSLX HD channel 200.7. You can catch us on Facebook, on Restream, YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the place.
These mics sound good.
Don't they always love when we're in the studio because my mic sounds nice. Check one. Hey, we'll take this break. Be back after these messages, folks. Hope you're having a great start to Memorial Day weekend.
You okay?
Thanks, Aaron. And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Hope you are enjoying the start of your Memorial Day weekend. Got that extra day off this week, man.
Yeah.
Get your little extra run in.
I'll be working.
You gonna work?
I'll be putting in.
I'll be working at Eaton that day. Hey, this segment right here is brought to you by
Milano Music, family owned and operated for over 75 years, over 50,000 square foot showroom and repair facility, 18 instrument rental depots across the valley. Visit milanomusic.com. That's MILANO music.com, or call them at 480-827-1111.
So we still got some NBA playoffs going on right now, man. The sad part is our Suns bowed out on us early, losing to the Mavericks, and then you lose interest a little bit because our team is no longer there. Well, your team was never there though. So you must not have any interest in these playoffs. Like even the playing game, they weren't even there. So it's like, you looking forward to football season real bad, ain't you?
Oh man, you in top notch form, man.
It's all this fresh air in the studio. That's what it is. You know how we do it. But a couple of really good series. Well, one good series, one is over now. Mavericks put up a little bit of a fight against the Warriors, but the Warriors, I was just too much team against one individual, if you ask me. Yeah. They won that series 4-1. I did find it interesting how even down 3-0 at one point, then Dallas goes and gets that one win, and everybody's still like, well, hold your breath, hold on.
Because they're trying to make it interesting.
Yeah.
I got a couple of points that I want to run by you.
For what series?
That series.
Okay, go ahead, give them.
All right, so you ever come across those people that when they lose, they're very gracious, right?
Yeah.
So if I lose, no, if they win.
They win, yeah.
Gracious. They say, hey, good job, you guys don't do it. Draymond Green is not that dude.
No.
Draymond Green is not that dude. When they won, they were asking me, like, we knew he was going to win. We all this, we knew this. They can't stop us. We can't get us off our spot.
Is that confidence or arrogance, though?
Man,
because
it's a fine line. It's
right? Fine line.
It's a fine line. So that's one thing that got me. And I started to hear locally, and Aaron might even have heard some of this stuff. So locally, there were some guys that when the Suns were in the playoffs, this is the best playoffs ever.
Yeah.
This is great right now. This is great. The minute that the Suns were out, and this round of playoffs has been, I think, lackluster because of so many blowouts.
Yeah.
So there were really, really no close games. But I heard up and down the dial people saying, these playoffs are bad. These playoffs are terrible. I was thinking, no, they're not. This round has been lackluster. But this is where the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
I think that's what we see.
I think another thing, though, because the Suns were so good all the way through the season and everybody was pumping them up, for them to have a second round bow out, because there were a lot of people. We got to a point where even you and I, we were questioning, how come the Suns aren't getting their love? It's like all through the season. It's like they've had the best record. They, all the way through, they're the number one seed. They won the West by 8 games or whatever it is, and it was still kind of like, well, So then they finally start to get a little love. Like, man, these Suns, you're going to go through Phoenix to get this title. And then for them to bow out and not bow out against Golden State, they bowed out against the Mavericks, who we just saw got pretty much just beat down by Golden State. And it was almost like anticlimactic because everybody, myself included, I was looking for, I was like, man, this Suns, Golden State, this is going to be a series. This one might be the series of all series. The old dudes trying to, take care of this new up and coming. We never got it. And then on the other side, Milwaukee, they lost to the Celtics. Yeah. That kind of let a little air out the building as well. Yeah. No Giannis, no chance for a repeat.
You ever been to, I don't know if you ever went to amusement parks?
Yeah.
But so you try to pick the right line. So you say, this line is moving faster, right? No, seriously. So you look and you say, okay, we got 2 lines here. I'm going to jump on this one because this one's moving faster. That's Kevin Durant when he decided to bounce from that team to say, I'm going over to this team right here because we might have to all out. And then the other line moves a lot faster. And they get back to the finals and you're sitting there saying,
even better than the line at the amusement parks. How about when you go to check when you got to go through security at the airport? It's a gamble, man. You look at you look at the lady and she's got like 6 bags, and you're like, and then you step in this one, all of a sudden that one just takes off.
Yeah.
and you're stuck behind the dude who can't get his shoes off, and stuff like that. So.
But yeah, the Celtics Heat series. But it's not surprising to me that the Warriors were able to be victorious.
Yeah.
But again, it's you live in the moment because you don't know what next year is going to hold, and so I've heard a lot of people debate this, and I think it's valid when you talk about windows of opportunity to win championships.
Yeah.
The window can close and open. I mean, it changes all the time. So just because you have a great squad this year doesn't mean that that's going to.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is a great question. I'll ask you this, Aaron, and both of you. The window for the Suns, it seems like as quickly as it opened, it's kind of. I'm not saying it's closed, but it looks like it's smaller already, doesn't it? And that's a strange thing to think because this team has been so good on the rise, but it's almost like have they plateaued? Do you get that feel too, Aaron? Yeah. And then we've got so many questions here with what are they going to do with 8?
Yeah.
What is it going to be like for another 82 game schedule for CP3, then get to the playoffs? And you brought something up even last week where, the fans, to a certain degree, it's like we've almost been set up for disappointment and failure now. So how do you get back on that train? And we talked about this before. The season, like when teams make this rise, you get all the way to where the train eventually stops.
Right.
It's not like you get to start on that same spot again next year.
Yeah.
We got to go through this all over again from start to scratch.
If we use the Warriors as an example, let's say the Suns and the Warriors, let's say they're similar in this way. So bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors drafted really well, and then by the time it was time for everybody to really, really get their money, they had won a championship. Now, again, I think they had paid Curry. I mean, he had some ankle stuff, and then you kind of had to say, all right, dog, you got to take a little bit less. And then, so by the time it was time for people to start to really get paid, if I'm not mistaken, that's when they said, okay, we're going to keep this core, these three together, and then try to see what we can do to add different parts. Now, with the Suns, they drafted well. Cam Johnson, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. Obviously, they have DeAndre Ayton. Of course, they got Booker. So that's great. Now it's time for everybody to start getting paid. Yeah. And you haven't won a championship yet. So now you're saying, are these parts good enough to be able to win a championship? Because you don't have a reliable backup point guard, and that's a big thing. And then if you're you're saying, man, pay me my money. But if you pay him what he wants, that's like paying somebody to be a number one.
Yeah.
But they don't use him like that. And I think that's the
it's going to be real interesting because he is obviously he's restricted, but they're going to have to match what other teams are going to offer him. And there's sometimes other teams, they'll offer $1 gazillion because they know you got to match it if you want to keep him.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the case.
Or what they'll do is they won't because they don't want that money. Because if I offer you, let's say I offer you $100 million, I can't offer somebody else that same contract amount because you have the ability to say yes, and so I have to wait. And so there's that 72-hour, I believe, that time period where you have to wait. So sometimes teams say, "Nah, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to. I don't want to wait on your team 72 hours just to be able to have them match it."
Isn't it amazing though what we would consider a very successful season should be for the Suns? There are like so many questions. It's like, wow, have we seen the best of them? That might be the case here. So, and then on the other side. Game 7 tomorrow for the Eastern Conference. This series has gone absolutely nothing like I thought because we've had, like you said, so many blowouts in this series, and then the road teams have gone and won games that we didn't. After what the Celtics did to Miami two games ago, you're thinking, well, they're going to go home and wrap this one up. Jimmy Butler, and they got no chance. And the Heat come out, and they controlled that game from start to finish to get a Game 7. But then if you're trying to pick this one, because I think even the Heat were like an 8 or 9 point dog going into that last night.
They were.
It's like, holy cow. Now we're going to a game. I love it, too. I love Game 7s, especially on a Sunday when I don't have anything to do.
Especially Game 7s, like it was over before it started with the Suns.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, I waited all day for this.
Who you got in this one, Heat or Celtics?
Heat.
You got Heat? I got Heat, too.
Just barely, and I put like money on the Celtics.
This is one
finals.
At home, this is what you play. People always ask, well, home court doesn't really mean anything, right? Game 7, this is where it counts. But the flip side is both teams have gone to the other spot and just embarrassed the other team. So I'm going Heat only because it's at home, but that could be also to a detriment.
It's going to be a close game.
Yeah. You don't think so? I think it's going to be like last night. I think it's going to be a really good game.
You always talk, Lamar Jones, talk about that lemon booty. The booty holes get a little
tight. Look tight.
Somebody.
Let's just say that. And they'll be matching up against the Warriors, and the NBA Finals start on Thursday. So can't believe we're already to that stretch. So, hey, we're going to take this break. Great show so far. We're going to come back. Got a little Cardinals news to talk about.
Yes, indeed.
Hope you're having a great start to your Memorial Day weekend, hanging out, staying cool if you're out here in Arizona. Or if you're somewhere else, hope you get ready to get that food in, because I know I am. I got to tell you my menu.
So please do.
Got some stuff going on.
I'll get to work early so I can come by your house.
Take this break. Be back after these messages.
Are you kidding?
You also got to talk about you've been sampling a little bit too. So
yeah, man, I've been doing my thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, sir.
$11. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, hey, Aaron, for this series, for this segment coming up, I want to get your thoughts on some of this big deal, little deal, no deal for this for these OTAs. Cool.
Yeah, I made some. I ended up buying some ahi tuna.
Okay.
And made some in the air fryer.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. See, now, Aaron, you get to see him clowning in here. You don't see this normally because we're on remote. So Hey, this segment right here is brought to you by.
What you want? Oh man, you got to get to it. All right. So Majestic Services. Contact Majestic Services to do all the dirty work around your home or business. Majestic Services will pressure wash your driveways, awnings, pool decks, sidewalks, receiving docks, and more. Call Majestic Services at 602-614-9401 or go to majesticservices.net for your free, no obligation quote today.
And I thought I would give a little shout out to all of our little, not necessarily graduates, but moving on to the next steps.
Oh, that's why you was talking to me earlier? Because typically you don't talk to you before the show.
Hey, give a shout out to Elijah. Where's he going?
Elijah is moving on to his junior year in high school, and he finished what I want to say a 3.9 GPA. And the cool thing is that, and it's not, GPA is important, so we know in terms of how it can help, but the big thing is that he was disappointed with one of his grades because it was like a 1.5% away from being straight A's. And so, it's, I'm proud of him. So definitely keep it up, son. Definitely we are proud of him.
Absolutely. Quinn just moved on to 7th grade, man. He was on the honor roll, all consecutive throughout the year, but finished up. He'll be going on to 7th grade next year. And then our oldest son, he just finished a big test. He's in his 2nd year in medical school.
Okay.
So he just finished up a big test, and he's been keeping up with us. And if he is listening, I want to give him a shout and congratulations as well.
Congratulations. That's what's up. Yeah, so, Kendrick is in, he's in summer school now as he's working through to try to stay ahead of the curve for nursing school. So we're proud of everybody.
Hey, how about this segue? And speaking of going into the classroom,
oh
my goodness. Yeah. Cardinals OTA is going on right now. And the big story has been the no-shows in place of the people that are actually there.
So, but at least people who are new to the team are all there, especially folks that are newly acquired. They in the building soaking up the playbook and getting all that stuff, right?
No, they wanted to be with their buddies at this time of year and decided not to come in. And I think we did Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast the other day. Was it just yesterday, right?
Yep, just yesterday.
And where can that be found?
That can be found if you go to Believe.com, if you find wherever you find your podcast, but also it's available on the SiriusXM app. So just search Believe in the Arizona Cardinals. That's BLEAV.
And I actually went on the app yesterday because you showed me where it was on.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, let me go check. So I actually went on the app and showed up. Yeah. Believe in the Arizona Cardinals is on the SiriusXM app.
Yes,
so that is really cool. So all you out there, if that's where you want to go get us, you can go get us. So, so the OTAs are going right now. Let me give everybody a little taste of what OTAs actually are.
Yes.
They're a 10-day off-season program designed to help the players improve in-person meetings and classroom instruction. So basically, as guys get to come into the facility,
right?
Because normally, like right now, you're in for your workouts and stuff like that. You can't have contact with your coaches. You can't. I'm saying before the OTAs, like there can't be like coaches take out in the field or sit down and look at film and all that kind of stuff because they want to manage how much the coaches. And this is through the collective bargaining agreement because the coaches have their way every day. They'd be like, "Hey, come on here, let's get some film." Yeah. So the off-season is structured where you can't have a lot of organized workouts, but you get to the OTAs, and that's when it's a 10-day. Players can come in.
Yeah,
we can do some classroom stuff. We can go on the field and do some stuff.
Yeah,
and certain players, and they're called voluntary. I used to always look at them as voluntary mandatory.
I've heard that phrase.
Somebody like myself, I was going back. I joked with you yesterday. If I could, I would have slept at the facility just to make sure they knew how. I was serious about this job.
So serious.
I want y'all to know I'm serious.
So serious.
But the big story is Kyler Murray along with Oliver Brown. They're not here.
DeAndre
Hopkins.
What is it? Running back. What's my man?
Connor.
Yeah, so
and this is for an organization that so-called is ready to make the next step, right? What this shows me is everybody's not committed to the same thing. And I gave you a story yesterday on our podcast about when I was with the Falcons.
Yes.
And we were not a good team in '97.
Okay.
But that coming off season, Coach Reeves on his 2nd year there, all of our 2nd year, we all made a commitment. I mean, I didn't miss a workout or an OT or anything. And even all of our stars, our old veteran quarterback, Chris Chandler was there along with everybody else. We all used that offseason to get to know each other, to learn more about the offense, to, look at some of last year's tape and stuff like that, to get better.
Right.
That was what sparked us into that following season when we went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It didn't start come September or even in training camp in August and July. It started after the draft. Rookies coming in. We had the OTAs. guys coming in, getting familiar with each other, working out. And this little bit of time, you look at it as OTAs, what can they really do? Let me ask you this, Kyler Murray, what could you be doing right now to display your leadership, to get to know some of your players or show the commitment that's important? Yeah.
So before we keep diving into it, so I want to ask you, Aaron, so because Ed and I have our thoughts on it, do you think this is a big deal or no big deal, the fact that some of those folks, those key people, especially like a Marquise Brown and a Kyler Murray, were not present at OTAs? Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Lemon booty. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
I love that. Love his perspective. I still beg to differ because, like I said, any minute that you can all be together working on this, for me, especially when you got new pieces coming in, and then for me, this would have also showed a little bit of commitment from Kyler Murray. And I said this to you yesterday, Jay. It's one thing to talk about it, Aaron, how you're a leader and you're there and the Cardinals got my back. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about that. You could have showed what I said yesterday. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Be about it.
If you show up, now you're showing me that, hey, everything is good. We don't need to discuss the contract because it eventually is going to get done. There are no bitter ill feelings, and we can watch this all under the tape. But for him not to show up, for me, just means he's and then just like you were there for some of the comments and stuff like that. I would ask anybody, what are they supposed to say?
Oh,
what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I brought that up.
That's good. That's what I was talking to Ed about that too.
With the OTAs, Aaron, these are literally they're not doing anything that should garner injury. And then for someone like a Kyler Murray, he can opt out of the physical stuff. He can actually come in just to be in the classroom, just to be around the other players. So for me, this is, and I said to you yesterday, this is like training camp when there's always that accountable, you're taking into account there could be an injury. These things are so light. These things are all about everybody just coming in and being in the classroom and around each other at the facility. And that aspect, I mean, anything is fine. He could be walking down the hallway and trip over something and hurt himself at an OTA. But I guarantee you, if they run these the way most teams do, there's nothing going on. Like I said, the reps are for those younger guys, the rookies. They'll be out there busting their tails because one, they want to show what they can do, and also they're getting acclimated to everything. For somebody like Kyler Murray, and even if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't even work on regular training camp, let alone an OTA, but just to be there would have been a sign of faith for me.
Just so the Kyler Murray thing is that definitely comes top of mind. But the thing to me is if you're the Marquise Brown, if nothing else, just to be able to continue to get familiar with as you're walking through it, if you're in the classroom and being able to understand kind of what this playbook looks like, because you want your learning curve to be as short as possible so that you can make the impact, because now you're not the number 2 as we thought going in that he was going to be, but you're going to be the number 1 for at least the first 6 games. And those are those different things in terms of team building things. I can understand that.
Did they explain, Aaron, why certain players weren't there, or did they just gloss over it? Because I would be curious, like for Marquise, I mean, this is new organization, new everything. I would want to know where my locker was. I want to know the facility, how I'm getting in, what door, and where I need to park. This is the stuff that this time of year that's inconsequential, but at the same time, it's like just to go in the building for the first time. Did they explain why he wasn't there, or it was just certain guys just aren't here? Okay.
You know, who was their ex favorite player is there. You know who their favorite player is.
Well, Mr. JJ Watt. Well, I bet he probably dropped a couple weights in the weight room too, just to let everybody know who's in there. What was that? Oh, that's JJ just I mean, and then we got something to talk about next segment. That man, JJ probably he had some dreams about what we're gonna talk about next segment. You know them type of dreams when you're like 14 years old. You know.
Being in the studio brings the worst out.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, no, I do think they missed an opportunity here. And you brought up an interesting thing too, Aaron. Nothing is mandatory until minicamp, which starts on the 14th to the 16th of June. So those are right around the corner.
Yeah.
So it's not far off. My question, I'm not sure how much time we have left here. How much progress have they made toward getting the contract situation taken care of? Because that's right around the corner.
Yeah. You better hit them corners, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a break coming up here. We're going to come back. Got some other things to talk about, too. We'll be back after these messages, folks.
Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Can you hear him okay? Can you hear him okay?
Wow.
Okay. Try to, you think?
Where?
Try to adjust your, can you hear?
Can you hear me, Aaron?
Because I can hear him fine. Maybe if you.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not.
Maybe?
Yeah, this happened a while back, and let's see, I think I got
Back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Hope you are enjoying the start of your Memorial Day weekend. I was just tantalizing Jay with a little bit of my menu coming up for the holiday weekend here. Meanwhile, he wants to sing in my ear over there. Anyway, this segment right here is brought to you by
Casual Sports Radio Network. Casualsports.com is your destination for the latest updates and in-depth coverage of your Arizona sports teams, including all things Arizona Cardinals for the Bird Gang fan base. Visit casualsports.com, that's KAZUALSPORTZ.com for feature articles, great podcasts, such as the Repurposing of the Easy Sports Talk Show, and Believe in the Arizona Cardinals, and music programming like Microphone Masters, Disposable Arts, and more.
And if you want to get at us from the Easy Sports Talk hotline, remember you can call 222-1060. Brother Aaron's behind the glass to answer your calls. And Aaron, be ready, because you know at some point we're going to be talking about menu, what we're going to be eating this weekend. So that's toward the end of the show. Stay tuned, folks. Got some good news to let you know what I'll be doing. But let's jump back into some Cardinal news right here. Obviously, OTA is going on. But there, you know, we read articles and stuff on the week, and there's always some great topics and subjects. Just kind of filtered through one of them. I didn't even realize, you know, remember we got rid of a couple of them on the offseason, let them kind of going their way. Yeah. One of them being Jordan Hicks, in front of the Cardinals. This coming season is about Javon Collins and his role. He'll supposedly be taking. I mean, he wasn't seen much on the field at times last year.
A little bit of that, what is it, Isaiah Simmons type of thing.
Yeah, but they're expecting Collins to be basically the quarterback of the defense. At least that's the original plan. And I'm thinking that's a big jump from some of his lack of activity. There were games when you and I had to make sure he wasn't in there. We're like, wait a minute, one tackle, or did he get hurt at some point, or number? Maybe
it's like that. I used to play the best video game ever, NCAA 2014.
Okay.
So sometimes you would have these jumps of awareness that would go in between. You come back and your awareness was 60, and now it's 80 because you have this amazing jump. So maybe that's what happened.
That's what they're banking on, I guess. Because he's going to be thrown into a role, like I said, you know, quarterback of the defense now, responsible for all calls. Not just getting on calls, saying that you're in charge of getting guys to where they're supposed to be sometimes. You know, quarterback of the offense, there was a couple times, I think I told you this story before, where Chris Taylor, you know, and I was with quarterbacks who weren't quite where he was, and I never would have asked them. But I remember one play, I was line of scrimmage, hand around, and made a check. I was like, that was brain quarterback. I was like, oh my God. And I came out of my stance, I looked at him, and I said, Chris, and I gave him the hands like this. Yes, he pointed at me and told me, you got the out. So he knew everything everybody was doing. Same thing goes for the quarterback of the defense. Now Collins is going to be going from, single digit snap. All of a sudden now he's going to be in charge of everything. Is he ready for that? You know what OTAs are good for? OTAs are good for a young man to get in there and kind of start learning what he's supposed to be doing.
Spoken like a good for young quarterback. He came all the way back and said, remember what I told you to remember in the beginning of my speech.
So it'll be interesting. Now, were there any talks about Javon Collins or his new role or anything like that?
They ain't tripping about Javon. They tripping about Kyler Murray.
Okay. Yeah. What was the atmosphere of the OTAs like? I mean, I've been to them myself, but was it jovial? Was it all business? What did the atmosphere feel like? Okay, we'll see. Another thing with D-Hop being out for 6 weeks of the year, that's a big elephant in the room too, because now they're going to have to be planning for, this isn't something that happens at the start of the season. We all know 6 games he's going to be out. What is their plan going to be moving forward? Well, here's an interesting question. We know D-Hop does not like to play during the preseason. Yeah, I mean,
he don't like to practice.
He doesn't like to practice anything.
Man.
When you go into a season that we already know if he doesn't play in the preseason, then all of a sudden you get to game one, and when we get to game one, he cannot be involved with the team at all. He can't come to the facility or rehab or nothing. So basically, the week before the first preseason or the regular season, he's got to go. You're not going to see him after game 6. How do you prep for that? I mean, does that something place? Preseason?
Do you play him? I don't think that you would, because I want to get these other dudes to have their reps, because they're the ones that are going to be playing. That's what I would do, right? I mean, what do you think, Aaron?
Here's the thing. There's one thing to be in shape. There's another thing to be in football shape when he comes back for week 7. I think there's going to be some has to be plans put together for him, because otherwise you're getting him back in week 6 or for week 7. It could be 3 or 4 weeks before he's in game shape. You're talking about 10 games into the season.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm serious. There's a lot to contemplate when it comes to that. Yeah. Along those lines, right around that time when he comes back, there are going to be some cameras showing up for the
you might be on camera, right? Man, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be cool. But yeah, so Hard Knocks in season. The Cardinals are going to be featured on Hard Knocks. Last season, it was last season was Colts. Typically what they do is the preseason, so leading up to the first game of the season. And then last season, they decided to kind of expand that a bit to do something in season. And it's going to be, there's a few things that came to mind. The first thing that came to mind was Cliff Kingsbury. I'm just curious as to, if I remember being in a leadership position at a former company that I worked for, and my second year in, my third, it would have been probably some very embarrassing things just in terms of my learning process, my learning curve to become the best manager possible. So we're a few seasons in with Cliff Kingsbury, but there are still those questions as to how good of a leader of men is he? How good of is he at being the CEO of the team? And I hope he doesn't get exposed.
Well, even beyond that, the cameras will change everything for me. Man. I just think for a team that has over the last couple of years has struggled, they struggled mightily in the second half of the season. And I would even dare to say last year they collapsed from being a number 1 seed, all of a sudden squeaking in the playoffs, and then that embarrassing loss in the playoffs. Yep. This is a team that needs to be so focused that this doesn't become a yearly issue, right? Now you're going to be bringing in cameras, and we've seen them before, because J.J. Watt has actually been on the camera before. They did Houston, and we had this dude out there flipping tires at midnight and doing the cone drills and stuff like that. I'm like, a judge machine. Yeah. I mean, in the weight room, and this is for a team that, like I said, could use all the peace and quiet that they possibly could have. Now at week 8 or 9 or whatever, the cameras are going to come in, and for me, that changes everything.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a situation where, of all teams, I think I said this to you yesterday, we got the bad draw because we could have not used this more than anybody, because I don't think we need the distraction, especially after we're done with that 6-game suspension. We do get hot back. Where are we going to be in the pantheon of the season? Are we going to be struggling again? I just think it's the worst thing that could have happened.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
We got to come in the studio more often.
Yes.
Interesting.
It could backfire.
Interesting.
It really could.
And you said, to your point, Aaron, Ed did say, because guys aren't maybe going to be as honest as they would be, or especially those dudes that are doing stuff that they don't need to be doing. They're going to make sure that they're doing everything that they need to do.
I'll be honest with you. If it was during the preseason, I'd be totally fine with it. I just don't like the distraction during the season, and especially because it's going to be a first time for a lot of guys. So, hey, we're going to take this break. 1 hour down. Cannot believe it. Great to be here in the studio with Aaron.
I love Aaron jumping in too.
Oh, man.
All the time.
Hey, we're going to take this break. We got a lot to talk about. Open up with some baseball to start the second hour of this show. Hope you're having a great weekend. Be back after these messages, folks.
Well, you did.
Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Thanks, man.
Love that, Aaron. Love that. Yeah, love it. Love it. You want this chair?
No, I'm good. I'm just roughing it. No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I don't think either one of them is any good, but.
Sounds good. Dan's all set for us.
Okay. Thanks, man. Where you heading after this? After a run or?
Yeah, well, since it's 100, so we'll go take my stuff and go back home, and then go run.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would just hit the trail from here.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, Monday. I'm just looking forward to this long weekend. I don't know what it is.
Just knock out those banks on Monday morning. I was gonna do the Rangers, the Kansas City Royals facility.
Oh, okay.
On Sunday.
But, one of the teachers at Quinn School, we're really good for, not teachers, student, parents of one of the kids. He won this 20-person suite day at the Royals facility for next spring training.
Okay.
So maybe we just grab a whole bunch of people on one of those. I'll set it up, then we'll go there and eat some food and watch some baseball. Sounds good to me. I don't know too many people I want to sit with. So. First, I was like, well, shoot, I'll just do Quinn. We'll just eat everything in there. I was like, nah, but sure.
Oh, my God. You're a fool. That'll be the day where I'm pressure watching. I see you walk up. Hey, dog.
I got 3 hot dogs in my mouth at the same time.
What's up, man? I'll let you work.
What up, Bill Jack?
Oh, my God.
If he's still there, which he should, Mike Matheny, the manager of the Royals, is one of my best friends when I was playing ball. I just haven't talked to him in years. He was with Cardinals for a bunch of years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He's a dude. I remember first when I got traded from the Brewers. No, I was free agent with the Indians my last year. He was in AAA with the Brewers. I go to the plate, I said, first at bat, he's like, I'm getting ready to hit. He's like, fastball. I was like, boom, fastball right to the middle. He throws back the pitch. I told you it's going to be a fastball. I was like, oh, snap. So next pitch, I'm up there. He says, fastball. I said, yeah. Yeah, he hooked the brother up. Nice. Oh, yeah. Controversy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one right there, man. Controversy. We could be a little duo. Hey, welcome back. Hour 2 of the Easy Sports Talk. So hope you have a great start to your weekend. This segment right here is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company. Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. One of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. It is actually having one right now. Call Colt Artisan Beverage Company at 623-434-0939 or visit ilovecolt.com for more information.
May he rest in peace. Every time I think of Prince, though, I think of remember the Chappelle skit with
Yes.
he served his pancakes.
Yes, and I've heard of that from enough people that said that is true.
It could be, yeah. Well, I've seen pictures of him, Prince, meaning in his basketball. He was supposed to be a baller too. So, have you ever seen that skit, Aaron? The one where he serves him pancakes after beating him? That's one of my favorites, right there. Hey, we're gonna jump out to the Easy Sports Talk hotline. We have one of our favorite callers on. Dan wanted to talk a little Diamondback with us. How you doing, Dan? Good, man. Happy Memorial Day to you and the family. You got it. What you got going? Well, thank you for the call, Dan. Great question. The thing about a baseball season, we all know, it is 162 games. And as you said, we're in the quarter hold basically right now. They're sitting at 23 and 24. And I would dare say they have overachieved already, or to this point in the season. The problem with a baseball season, it is so long they could go into one of those horrible slides and just nosedive. But from what I've seen from this team right now, even at one game under 500, it has been a very pleasant surprise for me so far.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of things to improve on. I don't necessarily know, talent-wise, is this a rebuild? Because when I'm thinking rebuild, I'm thinking of adding superior pieces. We're loading up with all-star talent to try to get us back to that level.
You have to grow talent, homegrown talent to a certain extent, and then maybe you figure out after giving them a couple of seasons of opportunity of that what is it when you go on a job and you give to give them an opportunity to show them how well they are, how good they are, what their ceiling really is. Then you decide to do some movement there.
Well, it could work out both ways. I'm a little leery that they're looking at, hopefully within the walls of the organization, meaning ownership and GM, they're being realistic with themselves in terms of this is not a championship team.
Right.
And we've got a long way to go to get some pieces. What'll be interesting for me is however this season finishes, and like I said, the baseball season, it's a long haul, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever the record is, for me, the true test is what do we do in free agency moving forward? Meaning, are we going to go out and try to get some pieces, established pieces? Probably not. So where does that leave you? In the division, when you're facing the Dodgers, interestingly enough, we're in a series with the Dodgers right now. And guess what, Jay? We're 0-6 against the Dodgers so far this year.
No, they won the Dodgers. They beat the Dodgers.
No, they didn't?
Yeah. If I want to say that when they faced them earlier in the year, we got a couple of victories over them. I'll take a look and see.
Beg to differ with you.
Yeah,
we can look back. Let me see here.
No, you're good. I'll take a look.
Okay, go ahead and take a look. Now, back in, let me see, the 15th of May, we lost. We lost a doubleheader on the 16th. We lost on the 18th. So that's 0-4. And then we've lost the first two of this series as well.
Yeah.
0-6.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to go back in.
Every once in a while, I'm right.
Yeah,
broken clock.
They say it's something you can sound on the dogs behind it. There you go. Okay, so I am incorrect. So instead of 0-6 for
but it's still a case of hammer and nail.
Yeah, so we're 2-7 against them, which, like I said, I missed those games there. But for me, it's when you're facing up against organizations like the Dodgers and then some of these other teams even in our division, I think it's an uphill battle when you don't have talent that matches. although I'm very surprised and I'm encouraged by what they're doing. If you're looking at the overall, the big picture,
Yeah.
we've got a long way to go. And for me, I hope they give Troy Lovello
They'll probably give him another 1-year extension.
You can't do that. You can't put that man in limbo.
Good
like
job.
that.
Good job. We give you 1 more year, man.
You can't do that to him in this industry. You can't throw another 1-year contract.
You bring up a good point when it comes to how do you go about when your measuring stick are those other teams within your division that are going to spend money. So we know that, but the Padres, at least still up to this point, they're still willing to spend. We know that San Francisco can spend. Colorado, they'll spend and then they'll jump right back out because they'll realize they'll give themselves a quarter of a season. We're going to be in first place or not, and they'll jump back out. But I think the Diamondbacks, for the most part, when they have spent that money recently, in the last 10 years or so, they haven't had the best results or the return on those investments. Bumgarner, when they brought him in, they were trying to bring him in for a contending type of team, right? To be able to contend for the playoffs, and that hasn't happened. But you still have him on your payroll. So is that somebody that 2.5 games out of the wild card is being in the wild card chase? Is that good enough for management? Is that good enough for them to say, yeah, that we'll keep this thing rolling?
Yeah,
because then you might put yourself. You could have been a seller to be able to bring on some of those assets. Maybe see what those.
So what do you think? We get to the halfway point, a little after the All-Star game. We're still hovering around maybe 3 or 4 out of the wild card. Do you think and their history tells me no, but do you think they would all of a sudden, hey, let's go get some pieces instead? And quite honestly, what do we have that other, like, if we're going to be sellers other than Bumgarner, but other than that, what else is there? So for other teams to be wanting to come and pillage from us. So in my opinion, it would be a situation, if it's not Bumgarner, we want to not necessarily be buyers. Maybe we're just holders. We just stay put and try to build on what we have instead of giving away the small trinkets that we have.
And I was going to say what you run the risk of is apathy within a market. But again, I think that when it comes to the attendance numbers in terms of the turnstiles, we see that already kind of when it comes to the Diamondbacks, that there's a lot of apathy, whereas they just don't have that faith. I mean, it's funny because I think we've seen where the Diamondbacks have, in seasons past, where they won 8 out of 10, and then people show up for that next game and they lose, and everybody's, I told you, and they're off the bandwagon right away. And that's unfortunate.
When you win 52 out of 162, like we did last year, that's hard. Yeah. That's hard to overcome. We talk about how the Suns fans are going to have a hard time coming back to restart after this run here. Come back and do 82 before we even get to the playoffs. Yeah. Man, when you won 52 out of 162, you got to have a whole lot of, what do they call them?
Parking is easy.
Yeah, parking is easy. You got to have a lot of, what do they do, like those fireworks nights and stuff like that. Man, we had to do fireworks nights for 80 of the 82 games to get people to come down there.
Speaking of that, because you played on the minor league level, did you play for some of those clubs that would do some of those quirky things?
Oh God, yeah, we got some of the craziest. Tell you one I love. I was in Beloit, Wisconsin. My buddy, my best friend Michael Carter, he was on this team with me too. And they had what we call demolition night, where they bought a bunch of old cars to the stadium for a few dollars. Everybody could take a sledgehammer and go beat, and so what they did, they made the mistake because we had the demolition night. They forgot to remove a couple of the cars the next day. Yeah. And a bunch of us, we got to the yard early and we saw the cars and they had left the sledgehammers and other things laying around. And we were in this neighborhood, Aaron. It was a residential area where our park was in Beloit, Wisconsin. So imagine, like, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, somebody must have looked out their window and they saw 7 or 8 brothers and a couple of Latinos. And we're all standing on top of the hoods of the car. We are going to the town with these sledgehammers and everything. Next thing you know, somebody called the cops. They're like, we don't know what's going on over there. They came over and we were like, hey, it's pregame, and we were just blowing off some steam, that type of thing. Man, I was out there with top of one of the hoods, just going to town on that car. But we did all the other things, 10-cent hot dog nights, the beer, when they had people on the stand out there to do the bat spins, and I think one time they even dropped money out of a helicopter. I can't remember. I saw all kinds of stuff. Oh man, just talking some of the best things I saw were from my minor league days. Some of the things they used to do.
Yeah. So. Again, I think if being standing pat, I think it will probably be the wrong decision to take. Either you're going to just try to let's get rid of this asset, try to see what we can bring back, and then try to go from there. But
it's tough.
You know,
I mean,
it is tough.
Yeah. But I will say this: it has been a pleasant surprise what I've seen so far.
Yep. We'll 23 and 24.
Yeah, 23, 24. Come back. We got some other news. We'll take this break. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Happy Memorial Day to all of you coming this Monday. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7. Aaron behind the glass. We're getting it in. Be back after these messages, folks.
Are you good?
Thanks, Aaron. Sir. When I come back, I'll mention ASU. And then we'll go ASU. Oh, yeah.
Word up.
So, hope you're having a great start to your weekend. This segment right here is brought to you by
True Narrative Media. True Narrative Media understands that in today's world, the visual aspect of media is extremely effective in growing your business and expanding your brand awareness. True Narrative Media specializes in telling your unique story, providing a wide range of video services for companies and businesses of all sizes. For more information, call 623-335-0735 or visit TrueNarrativeMedia.com.
And we had Brother Paul with us last week. Great to see him. I hadn't seen Brother Paul in quite a while. He actually jumped on for a few seconds with us.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to tell. He said Controversy was his best album.
Okay.
That was his thoughts, and he also said that the D-backs are 2 years away from being 2 years away.
I had a really great time with him.
Yeah. And let's not be remiss. We did mention this. Our ASU Sun Devils. We had Max Rosson on a couple of weeks. So I think it was 2 weeks back.
Last week.
Was it last week? Okay, so last week, and they were getting ready. They were finishing up the season, Washington State, then going into the Pac-12 tournament, and that was going to be their vehicle to hopefully get into the field for the NCAA tournament. Came up a game or two short. Actually started on Wednesday in the inaugural Pac-12 tournament, and they had a loss. Let me see, where's my stuff at? First game, they lost to Stanford 3-6 on Wednesday. Came back with a win against Oregon on Thursday, winning 4-2. Then last night against arch nemesis and rival U of A, they were up 6-5 in the eighth inning. Gave up a 3-run hit to, I think it's I can't remember his name, but gave up 3 runs in the eighth and came up short, losing 8-6 to U of A. So it appears that their season is over. I don't think they'll get a bid for the tournament this year, but a noble attempt at finishing the year. And that put up a good showing, did not get swept in the Pac-12 tournament. And we're going to have Max on shortly to talk about, or next week or so, to wrap the season up for us. But he, in his words, he thinks they are on record, be done. He thinks they're on the right path. And that's half the battle, is having hope that things are going in the right direction.
Whenever you're coming in and trying to change or trying to get your philosophies that buy in, there are going to be those that no matter what will not buy in.
Yeah.
Or that they might be trying their best, but they just don't fit your scheme. They don't fit what you're looking to do. So you have to try to find those people and move those parts around. And it looks like that's part of this process.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, it'll be great to have Max on here soon. And I had a question, and I guess it's a rhetorical question because we all have the run sheet in front of us. I'll ask you, Aaron, just a second. Did you know that the Suns do not have a pick in the 2022 draft? Because until I saw this, you stumble across things. Mm-hmm. I was totally unaware that they don't have a pick in this coming year's draft. I'd say I was, it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, we don't have a pick because the draft is coming up June 23rd. I think it is, and we just assume that hey, we're going to improve the team in one way. And here's the thing with the NBA draft, it has become, because of the one and dones and everybody's going looking for European players that we've either never seen or heard of before. If you're picking late in the draft, I wouldn't even say late, if you're picking middle of the draft, if you're somewhere, I guess 10 on,
you can stash that player. If you think somebody has raw skills and talent, then you put them in. But
in terms of immediate impact, we're seeing very little in terms of immediate, unless you come from North Carolina, because we impact everything. But otherwise, we're seeing very little immediate impact. Whereas back in the day, draft picks changed the direction, the trajectory of organizations like this. Patrick Ewing, Tim Duncan. You think about some of our number one picks back in the day when these guys were seasoned, spending 2 and 3 years in college, getting mature, getting their skills kind of honed. Now we're getting kids fresh off the AAU circuit.
You're not trying to rock with Anthony Bennett, who was the number 1 draft pick in the 2013 draft to the Cavaliers and was not good.
Not good. I mean, but that's the new trend. So the fact that and I was looking, so we actually, our 2 draft picks that we would have been pick number 30, but that went to the Oklahoma City Thunder. We traded that for part of the Chris Paul trade in 2020. Mm-hmm. So that pick couple of years ago was gone, and and then we think, our second round pick, but they traded that to the Pacers. So the Pacers have our second round pick and that was the piece. They get pick number 58, and we got Jalen Smith in that trade. So we've basically given both of those away. We have aging CP3 and Jalen Smith, who averaged.
Who made trade Jalen Smith?
He might have. Let me see. No, I'm sorry. Torrey Craig.
He was gone, and now he's
Torrey
back.
Craig to Phoenix. Okay, so we got Torrey Craig, who averaged 6.9 in the regular season, and 2.2 in the 9 postseason games. But so we don't have a draft unless they do something, meaning try to trade back in, which means you have to either give a player or mortgage a pick for the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's a day of sitting and watching teams make their picks. And how do you feel about that?
You would like to have those picks, but again, what is it? A pick is just is a hope.
It's
right?
it's
a hope. So we don't know. There's a difference between a player that's been in the league for 2 or 3 years and you think you have a better idea of what his skill set or what his floor ceiling is, how high or low it is, depending on which one you're looking at. Because there are going to be some decisions. I think unless they make some drastic decisions, they're going to be over that penalty or that threshold in terms of
luxury tax.
Because of salaries that are coming up, you got booked. It's hard to keep a team together because when it's time to get paid, you don't know how you're just an injury away from being a has-been, right?
How do you feel about this, Aaron? Because even if it's a second round pick, like when you at least have a pick, use the word hope. Jay, is like you hope you can go out there and find something, or at least get something and put it into the kitty, like send them to the G League or something like that. When you don't have a pick at all, it's like we have nothing. It just feels like without having a pick at all, it's just.
Yep. Yeah, so here's the thing that you have to keep in mind: the better that you perform as a team. So when you're performing poorly, as the Suns were for many years, they had all these high draft picks. Then you start to your record improves. So then you start to draft later in that first round, right? So just because of the nature of a better record. So if to your point, if the success rate is low, the further that you get in the draft, then you say, well, let's just trade out and let's just get something else for it. Let's get some cash and let's just be able to figure out what we can do. So those are kind of the things that you deal with. I remember for many years, especially when the Lakers winning championships or getting to the finals or getting deep into the playoffs, and we would draft really late. We have like Mark Madsen. So you get some of these players that are maybe bit players and maybe play very sparingly. So you're figuring if it's going to be sparingly, let's get somebody. Let's see what we can do to either take that cash and pay somebody else a little bit more to be able to try to keep the team together or try to find a different asset.
The draft is like dealing in commodities. It's like being in the stock market. Yeah. You go get some stock, and it might be a penny stock. What you're hoping is it grows into something that someday you can trade off and recoup in a big way.
Yeah.
For right now, like we don't even have the money to go buy any of those penny stocks. We've got nothing in this draft, along with a few other teams, though, because the Suns are among 8 teams that currently don't have a first-round pick at all. 4 teams total don't have a pick in the entire draft. And here's an interesting thing: that the NBA draft, probably not. They probably have other teams trade everything away. Doesn't it seem? And I think years and years ago there was more than 2 rounds for the NBA draft, right?
Yeah, a couple decades ago, there used to be 3 or 4 rounds. But that was like in the.
Well, we're thinking because even you think about the NFL draft, there's 7 rounds. The MLB draft, I think they shaved it down to 20 or something like that. I told you, remember when I was drafted, there were 70 some odd rounds. And that's just unbelievable. Yeah. But 2 rounds, it just seems like it. There seems like there should be, especially the number of colleges and things out there. And all players.
1984 draft had
4 rounds.
6, 7.
Yeah, it just seems like there should be
10 rounds in the 1984 draft.
So 2 rounds, 30 teams. That means a total of 60 players are going to be drafted. And then you have free agents and stuff like that. With the number of ball players around the country, college and European players. Doesn't seem like there should be more than. I guess there's only rosters are only so big, but just 60 total players will be drafted between the two rounds. It just seems like really low.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What it is. I guess we do. So
You have to, if you are, you think about some of these really good organizations that were able to find really those diamonds in the rough in the second round. Those are organizations that I think of like the Spurs for a while, and it comes and it comes and goes, right?
Yeah.
Because you hit on 3 or 4, makes you look like a genius, and you miss on the next 10, whatever. But yeah, it's.
I guess it makes the
GM
job pretty easy though. If you don't have to worry about Jeff and anybody, we can just go out and have a beer, hang out.
Sign people.
We come back. We're going to talk about a little squabble going on. There's some dissension going on in the ranks in college football, man.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate you hanging out, Easy and Jay, Aaron on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7, Facebook, YouTube, Restream, you name it, we're out there. Be back after these messages, folks.
Are you good?
What's going on, brother Mark? Okay. Take your time. Thanks, Aaron. mm, 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 mm. And welcome back to
One
the
black
Sports Talk.
this is
Love
Floyd.
this video, man. I
Kill the noise.
used to love this video. Hey, this segment right here is brought to you by
E3 Cryo. The goal at E3 Cryo and Wellness Center is to enlighten and empower the community in better understanding the human body's self-healing capabilities. Some of the amazing benefits of their cutting-edge technologies include pain management, improved joint function, immune support, sleep improvement, and so much more. For more information, visit e3cryo.com. That's E3cryo.com, or call them at 602-899-2796, or just stop by their Phoenix location at Thunderbird and 35th Avenue, 13615 North 35th Avenue, number 2, 85029.
So earlier this week, I reached out to our good friend Monica. He's the voice of Texas A&M Aggies, and I wanted to have him on the show, but I was like, and I actually said to him, I was like, look, it's a little too dusty out there right now, and I don't want you having to worry about coming on and biting your tongue or anything like that.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, when things calm down a little bit, I would love to get your thoughts on what's going on between Jimbo Fisher and Saban. Well, he did. He texted me back though. He was just out, like he saved his text. He was like, Jimbo and Saban is fascinating. Jimbo's not going to back down. Don't question either his integrity or his players. He's not going to let Nick set the narrative, which I think is very interesting. For anybody that doesn't know, Nick Saban had one of his little presser, or not even a presser, a little function where he had all his boosters and everybody out there. He used the wrong terminology, especially in describing how Jimbo Fisher and A&M Aggies went out and basically bought all of their recruits, the NIL name, image, and likeness money. Basically saying they went out and they bought all their players. We didn't. We did it the right way. And it was on, people are almost saying like, well, he was sending a message to his boosters, like, look what they did. We want to stay in the game. We better start doing what they do.
He was at one of those private functions.
Yeah.
Those conversations. Yep.
And it got me wondering. First off, finding incredibly like these coaches all of a sudden now it's a problem because these players are getting paid, and it's like, what the heck is going on? And they're out there buying players. First of all, this has been going on since the dawn of time. Yeah. It's just before they called it name, image, and likeness. It was all done in back rooms under the table. Players, they would make promises to some of these players, get them on campus, and then all sitting in the dark, right? Now everything's come to the light, it's supposedly illegal. What I'm having an issue, or not issue, but what I'm questioning is, what were they thinking when they put this together? Because I thought
they just recently came out with some rules or some kind of guidelines.
It's like the Wild Wild West right now, because what I initially thought, which was, I think it's players should be getting compensated for all their work on the field. What I thought the whole premise was, once you're there on campus, then if a company or somebody wants to have you endorse something with use of your name, your image, or your likeness, then go at it. What's happened though is boosters are using this as an incentive to go get kids who are not even on campus yet, and bringing them onto campus through the use of this money. So it's not actually like some of these kids have never even played it down on the camp for the team yet. Yeah. They're already worth $1 million because the boosters are, we want to use your image like this.
Little Tommy, and they say, all right, Ed, coach him. I didn't even want that kid. You want him. I wanted him, so now you got him. Yeah. So it's kind of slippery stuff. Sure.
The NCAA has had a long history of just making bad choices and decisions, being like a silent, I guess, dictatorship. But then when it comes time to actually enforce rules,
their ability to enforce. It's like they got baby teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
they don't enforce something until somebody actually discovers it and finds it, and then all of a sudden now they want to step in. But they've done a poor job. And this name, image, and likeness thing, it's being used. How about this? And Aaron would love this, but it's being used. A good thing is being used for evil.
Right.
It's almost like the superhero who turns bad or something like that, or
Like
his
handcuffs.
power. I guess his superpowers being used evil,
Right.
almost
Yeah.
in a certain way, because this is a great thing for the kids, but it's being used properly by the establishment and the usage of it, meaning how everybody's using it to go and buy. No, I don't say buy, but purchase the services of these young athletes.
Yeah, I mean, kids are. The thing is that when you think about something in general, because this is a result of that, what is it, the O'Bannon suit? Because when I mentioned NCAA 14, you would play that game, and it would be somebody you knew that was Reggie Bush.
Same number,
color of the face, same moves, same strength, and all that stuff, but it wasn't Reggie Bush.
It had number 30 on it.
So so that's why it was so disingenuous. But now when you have to start paying, and everybody wants to plead poverty, right?
Yeah.
And so it's navigating this. What I hope doesn't happen is when you have these players that are being compensated, no matter if it's a few thousand or if it's in the millions, that somebody is advising them properly when it comes to make sure that by the 15th of April that you file your taxes and all those things. But it's when you have these coaches that are getting their way.
Oh God!
Now they're complaining because now that there's increased competition, and what increased competition should do is make you get better.
The coaches no longer have the power. That's where the issue is. Coaches.
And there's some of that I don't like, because I don't like that. So you're my coach, Ed's my coach, and then I don't like the fact that I only play 50% of the time, so I'm going to transfer portal. I think there has to be better rules when it comes to that transfer portal. Maybe you can only do it once. Or
at least you have a window where you can't, because these kids are transferring right in the middle of a season, and then because I didn't get enough snaps. Whatever happened to a little competition earning your spot rather than, I was promised this, now I'm not getting enough, so I'm going into the transfer portal. Yeah. And then they're bidding on them in the transfer portal, and whoever can come up with enough money, now all of a sudden there. So it's a bad system, in my opinion, altogether. Do I like that the kids are getting paid? I would say, but at the same time, it's what the system is being used and how it's being used that's kind of corrupting the entire, I guess, situation.
What I worry about are those kids that get in that transfer portal and that they made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Now they have no school.
Well, here's the thing too. How does it work so the boosters are now going to have increased power because they go to a coach and say, hey, we gave him $1 million, right? And so the coach is like, yeah. So now, Jimmy Lipper sitting on the bench is like, coach, we gave him $1 million. He needs to be in the lineup. Well, he needs to earn it. No, coach, he needs to be in the lineup. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to come a time because everything has to come to pass. Right now, all the money's like Oprah. You get a car. So at some point, taxes are going to have to be paid on this money, and somebody's going to have to be accountable for all the money that we've been dishing out here.
Right.
So it could get a lot uglier before it gets any better.
Yeah.
I do know one thing. I was born at the wrong time. You know how much I'd have been on the open market, man? Possibly. I was joking the other day when I went on my trips. If I got a T-shirt or something like that, I had to make sure you don't tell anybody about this T-shirt.
Think about that. You have been disqualified for that nice 100% T-shirt that you got.
No, I'm telling you, don't tell anybody about this T-shirt.
Don't tell anybody that we let you supersize.
Yeah. Supersize, yeah, exactly.
I mean, some of the stuff is just it's ridiculous in that regard. But again, what I do worry is exactly what you talk about. So it is the Wild Wild West right now. They're trying to put in some type of start to institute some type of controls. But here's the thing again, is that until they figure out how to navigate this, there are going to be those, and I think there are those boosters anyway that do this before everything came to the light. But now it is going to be more. Nah, man, I'm the car dealership in town. Yeah. I gave you Eddie Smith. I gave him $1 million. So if you don't play him, you won't be coaching here.
Yeah, we got a problem. Yeah, like I said, it's all going to come to pass at some point. I hope the kids. And you bring up a point too. I hope kids don't get lost in all this shuffle. And, they are
collateral damage. They're the
They're
product.
Yeah.
And so if you think of somebody as a product, then that dehumanizes them, right? So yeah, we need to bring in. Who can we bring in? Next person up. And it's just kind of it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or it's a machine that starts to feed itself, so to speak. So we're linebacker you. We just bring out they're coming off the assembly line, and that's how we bring them in.
I laugh at these coaches though. That, like I said, all of a sudden now they got a problem with everything, and it's like I said, because they've lost some of their institutional hold. Because these kids now have destroyed decisions. That, like the transfer portal was the beginning of the end for them. In terms of, because kids are like, I'm not sitting here, I'm going. And now the money is complicating everything that much more. So, hey, been a great show. We got one more segment to wrap things up. I appreciate you hanging out with Easy and Jim on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDOS 1060 AM, KSLX HD channel 100.7. It was amazing how clear we sound here in the studio, too. Be back after these messages. Sound sexy. Be back after these messages. I heard that in my ear. Like, I sound sexy. Sound sexy. Oh, Lord. First off, I want to thank Aaron for having us in his house, Aaron's house right here. Thank you for having us. Great to see you. We give out all my thank yous to everybody. Thank you to Brother Hans and Monty Shots over at Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. And speaking of Colt, we'll actually be out on the road for the next bunch of weeks with Colt. Starting next week, we'll be at Tortoise China up in Anthem. So it's off North Daisy Mountain Drive, 39510. So Did I say that right? You think Twitter's China? I think I said
Sounds
that
about right.
Yeah, so Twitter's China. So Up and Anthem will be next week. Look forward to seeing everybody up there. Great story. Getting a heads up on part of the story. I heard about the owner of that great establishment.
Okay.
You'll see them. I want to thank Mr. Milano and the family at Milano Music, Mr. Frank Sturpey and the Imagine Schools of Arizona family and the Above Part Network, Coach D'Alicio and the Varsity Sports Show. I was hoping to see Coach this week, but he was at home this week. So one of these days we'll have to catch up with him. I told him we need to have a cup of coffee soon. Colt Mara and EIC Agency, Cam Rogers and the Believe Network family. And once again, all of our podcasts can be heard where, Jay?
You go to Believe.com, you go to EasySportsTalk.com. You can find wherever you find your fine podcast and go there. But you can also find us on the SiriusXM app.
Yes,
Believe in the Arizona Cardinals. EAV.
Miss Tina Smith and E3 Cryo and Wellness Center, Majestic Services. Let Majestic Services come out and do all of your dirty work. Brother Mark Twain Beaver at True Narrative Media. Brother Earl and Sean at Casual Sports Network, along with Customer First Solutions. And I want to thank Dan for calling in today, as always. And then once again, thank you, Aaron. Always do a great job behind the glass. And then I'm trying to think, did we forget anything?
One thing, so on the 18th, on June 18th, and we'll get this up on the Facebook business page, but on June 18th, we're going to be over at my church, Citadel of Praise, our location in Buckeye, for the men's chicken and waffle breakfast. So it's real cool. It's going to be seeing it. So maybe I'll be jumping on and off the radio, but it's going to be a great time. And I'll put some information up there. Tickets are just $20 per person and $10 for children 12 and under. But it's going to be a great time. It's going to be kind of a sports theme. So we'll have a cornhole out there. We're hoping to have a hoop out there as well. But it's going to be a great time. So for men to just kind of hang around other men and just kick it. Also, everybody's welcome. But we'll be there, and I'll be emceeing acting.
Did we do that a couple of 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Or the event? Yeah. So we'll be doing that again. That'd be cool. So we'll be out there for the show. We'll be the MC. I'm going to find somebody to help co-host with us too.
Yes, indeed.
And then quick RIP to Mr. Ray Liotta. If you've seen Goodfellas and some of his other movies, like I said, he's one of them dudes, man. I didn't realize, one, he was 67 years old, and he passed away in his sleep while he was actually doing a movie, I think over in Jamaica or something like that. Dominican Republic, just out of the blue. And the crazy thing for me is, like, I love Goodfellas. It's one of my favorite all-time movies. That's one of those movies, whenever you see it, I don't care where you catch it while it's on, I just stop and I'll finish watching it. But the ironic thing for me is all the members of that movie, De Niro, Pesci, Paul Sorvino, he was the baby of the bunch. And they're all still alive, and he passed. So just, really just sad. So, RP, Ray Liotta, thoughts and prayers out to his family. And like I said, he died in his sleep, so they don't even really know what happened, but just crazy. So, great show. We got a bunch of minutes left here, and we're going to talk some food, man. We want to talk some food. First off, Aaron, what are you doing for the Memorial Day weekend? How's your family get it going? Is this one of those ones where everybody gets together? Don't you love the extra day off? So I was telling Jay, like, when there's a Monday off, it's like, man, this is extended weekend. I'm just looking forward to that. I don't know why.
Yeah, man.
I'm just looking forward to
There
it.
was a time years ago where I used to work for Frito-Lay, and they didn't have
There's no such thing as a day off.
It was Christmas and it was Easter, I want to say. And that's it. Otherwise, you working, dog.
You guys getting a barbecue in, cooking, anything? Okay. The good thing about the extra day off is you can go burn that day now, meaning tomorrow I'm going to go see mom, hang out, and then knowing whatever, there's no repercussions for Monday. I get to hang out. I don't have to get up, push the kid on the clock.
No repercussions.
No repercussions. Not that I'll be out there doing anything that involve repercussions, but I'm just saying, no alarm clock going on. Matter of fact, I got to remember to turn my alarm off on my phone for Monday morning.
Man, I automatically just wake up.
Do you? Well, I do too, but that means I have to get up. There's a difference between waking up and having to get up.
What are you cooking, man?
So here's the deal. Tonight we're doing pizza. just gonna do some pizzas and hang out, and then tomorrow doing the brats, the kielbasi, and the hamburgers on the grill.
Now, do you do anything special with the brats or anything?
I'll season them up. But my burgers, what I'll do is I'll take chopped mushrooms and cheese and jalapenos and stuff like that. I mix it all together. I don't just put them on top. So I cut everything up, bacon bit, and then a little teriyaki sauce or teriyaki or soy, whichever, and that way it's all inside the burger. You're not putting anything on it. It's all inside, including cheese. I'm telling you. And then what I figured, since I got that extra day,
now here's what we have.
Yes, I'm gonna go get myself some lump crab meats. On Monday, I'm gonna make some crab cakes,
man,
and those are going to be so good. I can already taste them.
I had some crab cakes before where it was a lot of cake, but not
a lot of crab. Well, I was joking. I was telling you because normally what I would do, I would go get real crab legs, cook them, and then I would deshell them, and that's too much work, bro. When you can go to AJ's or Trader Joe's and get that's expensive. It's not cheap. It's like gas, man.
Just parking in the parking lot, they're gonna say, "Hey, just make sure you know you're about to spend when you walk up in."
I'm sacrificing a couple gallons of gas. So I'm gonna go actually get the lump crab meat. I don't have to worry. That's minimal work. And then you throw in a game 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might even have to have some Jack or something with me, bro.
I might have to roll.
It's a special day.
I'm gonna come through with containers.
You wouldn't be the first. I got people in my family who's putting orders. Oh yeah.
No, I've never and I'm trying to figure out I have no idea because lately I've been trying to increase my level of cooking and stuff. So
Aaron, you were so impressed with this gentleman. He actually texted me the other day because I've been giving him recipes and stuff like that. And one of them was the rigatoni.
Yeah, that's why I made enough for 10 people. Yeah. My family said, "Stop."
It's funny when we were younger. This is probably from a movie. We used to trade baseball cards and stuff like that. Now we're trading recipes. But he called and I gave him a rundown to him, and then he sent me a picture, and that looked doggone good.
Man, it was good. Yeah, I appreciate the recipe. It was for
rigatoni in the pressure cooker, and it literally it takes minutes. You put your sauce in there. I cook boil the sausage, take the skin off, cut those up. You can do some meatballs where you brown them real quick and cut onions and peppers up, and then little what's the
red pepper flakes?
Red pepper flakes or garlic, and put your seasoning on. You put it in the pressure cooker, and boom! I mean, this is something that normally you'd have to put on the stove and simmer for hours. Man, in 30 minutes you're eating, and the pasta is done to perfection. It's so good. But he did a great job. He showed me the pictures and everything. Well, this one's a pressure cooker.
This is pressure cooker.
Yeah, this is a pressure cooker.
I sent you a text with it.
Do you have a pressure cooker? Okay, this one is a go-to. We were just talking even during the break. I was telling you I also have a shrimp scampi recipe and some different ones. So we can get in the sharing, man. We can.
And Google is a powerful thing because especially with the grill, especially since I'm home a lot during the day, right, Aaron? So what I started to do was. What I used to do was at lunch I would go and I would put stuff on the grill, but then I had to stay out there because it was the grill. But then I realized that I could do my seasoning and marinating and all that stuff, and then wrap the meat up in aluminum foil, put it on the grill, be able to walk away from it and come back, and it makes it so much better. I've cooked brisket like that. I've cooked ribs like that a couple times over the last month and a half. So it's a lot of good stuff.
So we still got to organize our Easy Sports Talk and dinner at the house. We got to all figure that out. Maybe in the summer coming up. Like I said, we put in requests for.
Are you east, west, north? What side of the valley? What part of the valley you live in, Aaron?
Yeah.
We west.
Okay. That's good. I can
attest to the fact that Ed is an excellent cook.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, especially the neck bone. It's not even the neck bone. But we gotta ease Aaron in because we can't even hit some neck bones. Hold up, man. Let me start with some burgers and some ribs and stuff like that before we get me all all the soul food and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna get it in, man. That'll be a lot of fun. So, man, Aaron, like I said, thank you for having us in the house here. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us for a couple hours here. We hope you have enjoyed the show and continue to keep up with us. We'll be in Anthem of all places next week. So Tortoise Chanis off of Daisy Mountain Road, 39510. So we'll be up here next week.
And if you want some good music for your cookout, just type in, search in all your streaming places, J Love, Get It Right. JLUV, J-LUV.
That's my man. I'm sorry we didn't get any music this week from
Yes, sir.
IESSUH. All right, we're gonna start featuring all your stuff. And if you want some reading material, go to edgespeaks.com and grab your copy of Easy Does It, The Journey of a Lifetime. You'll get a personal signed copy. Anyway, great show. Thank you, Jay, as always. Thank you, Aaron. Thank everybody for listening. Thank you, Dan, for calling. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll be back next week. And we'll be able to talk some of these the conference finals. Will be one game or no NBA finals, one game in. So, hey, appreciate you hanging out.
Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6. There you go. Till next week. Be easy out there. Get them, Day.
I'm sexy.
That
was excellent, man.
Was that a subliminal message?